Hello Internet, and welcome back to another episode of Can It Run on the Steam Deck. My name is James, and today we're looking at a game that I'm personally really excited about, and that is called Exoprimal. It's currently in its second open beta test, and I thought, let's check it out on the Steam Deck. And when I initially did that, I was able to get into the game, and it crashed. And so that was kind of not a great start, but if you go to compatibility and force the Proton experimental layer, you're able to boot this game and play it. So if you're running into that hurdle, make sure that the Proton experimental is checked. Again, this is as of this recording. I'm hoping when the actual game releases in a month, things will improve. There are some signs that maybe there's still some work to do, and we'll kind of get into that. This is a game from Capcom. It's primarily a multiplayer game, but from what I've seen of this open beta, which was new to me, is that they've kind of woven a single-player story within a multiplayer game, and I thought that was really interesting. It's built using the RE engine, which was used to power the Resident Evil remakes. I have Resident Evil Remake 3 on my channel if you want to check that out. That game performed really well with the Steam Deck. Off the bat, I will say that this game is a little demanding on the Steam Deck.
I hope you slept well and are rested.
There are some kind of weird choices here. The game is either 16 by 9 or 21 by 9 if you have an ultra-wide monitor. Obviously the Steam Deck is 16 by 10. So while you can set 1280 by 800, you're still seeing it in a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So I'd recommend just playing at 720 anyways, because it's just going to be the amount of pixels to fill that space. There are low and lowest settings. I found lowest settings to be extremely blurry and not very pleasant to look at. Personally, I like a kind of a balance of smooth frame rate and at least decent looking visuals, and I found going to low definitely looked good on this small screen. Weirdly enough, there is FSR, but it's only the 1.0 version. From my experience, FSR 1.0 isn't really that great. It'll make your game look extremely blurry and maybe give you like 5 more frames. I'm really hoping that they can implement FSR 2.0. Because from my experience, that's been a lot better results in getting more frames and a better quality image. For those that don't know, FSR is the ability to kind of upscale a lower res image, kind of like DLSS if you're used to NVIDIA's hardware, but FSR is kind of an open standard developed by AMD. So yeah, a lot of games really utilize that on the Steam Deck. I'm going to jump into a quick training mode just to give you a sense of like how we're doing off the bat. If I unlock my frame rate, you can see it's actually, I think I still have it capped in game to 30. So we'll turn that off shortly here. So if we go to video, we'll turn frame rate to no limit. You're gonna see it kind of with this low setting where we're getting kind of highs of 40, and you think that like it's actually kind of hovering around 40, so maybe we'll lock it at 40, but from my experience with this game, with the amount of like crazy stuff that happens on the screen, you almost want to give yourself about 10 frames of headroom. And we'll jump into an actual match just to kind of see that. I would begin to explain kind of the premise and story behind this game, but it kind of hurts my brain doing so. All you need to know are there are two teams. You're essentially kind of competing against each other, doing a similar task that's player versus enemy, and you need to get through these tasks as quickly as possible. So it's kind of a race from one point to the next. You kind of see your opposite team's ghosts, and you're kind of chasing them, and it'll let you know like how quickly you've completed it, if you're ahead or if you're behind, based on kind of your pace and your enemy's pace. That'll probably make a bit more sense once we jump into the game.
Heads up, team. Sniper neosaurs attack at long range using energy bolts. Long-range projectiles like those used by the Vigilant model are an effective deterrent.
There are like these different class of mechs that you get to control. Each have unique abilities, and they're different classes. There'll be like a health class, and or a healer, and like a tank and assault. Very kind of traditional classes that you would see in a lot of games. I'm just going to stick with the assault class. That's the one that I've been playing. It's the one that I'm kind of used to at the moment, so kind of stick to that.
The war game will begin shortly.
So these red outlines are the enemy team. You'll basically see we're all kind of rushing to this first point. Once we get there, the enemy team kind of disappears, and we're left to kind of tackle these objectives. They can range from a bunch of enemies kind of spawning to fighting larger enemies or more special enemies. There's like multiple classes of different dinosaurs, which hopefully we'll get to see within the single match here.
Summon raptors.
Right now it's just kind of spawning us with a few enemies here.
You are completing objectives faster than an enemy team. Follow the nav line and join.
So we're doing slightly faster than the enemy team, which is good.
To next mission. Initiating dinosaur cull mission. Preparing combat area. Please wait. Summoning Tyrannosaurus.
So now it's spawning these kind of flying
Summoning Pachycephalosaurus.
dinosaurs. Now it's going to throw some kind of bigger, heavier enemies at us.
Dinosaur call. Eliminate the specified target. Follow the Watcher. Proceed to next mission.
It looks like we're kind of neck and neck with the other
Dinosaur
team.
cull mission. Preparing combat area. Please wait. Summon the Triceratops.
I think we get to fight the big guy here. So you can see the frame rate's kind of really jumping between 40 and 30. I honestly, the way that I think I'll play this game, unless things kind of improve by launch, is lopping it to 30. I guess once we beat this guy here, I'll change it. So yeah, what I would do is change our frame limit here to 30, and then our in-game frame limits to
Initiating
30.
dinosaur call mission. Preparing combat area.
I think that'll give us a bit more of a consistent frame rate. Especially when we get into these kind of crazier battles.
Summoning Sinornithosauruses. The T-Rex is on the move. Pursue it. Summoning Dilophosaurus. Summoning gas neosaurs. Summoning Pachycephalosaurus.
And up.
We really gotta catch up with that T-Rex. Yeah, this feels a lot better locked to 30.
Keep that up.
Dinosaur call. The enemy team has progressed to the final mission. Act quickly to close the performance gap. Warning, you will now commence the final mission. Brace yourselves for interdimensional travel. Prepare for combat.
So the way this usually plays out, the final mission is kind of an escort the payload.
Proximity to the data key will cause it to advance. Escort it to the objective.
There has been, interestingly enough,
remain in proximity to repair it. Stay near the data key to escort it.
there's also been an instance where the AI will pit you against more enemies, but you'll team up with the other team, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it's not afraid to kind of mid-game kind of throw you in a completely different mode than what you kind of thought it would be, but the standard progression is you both kind of race to do these objectives, and then it's kind of escorting this payload is kind of like the final mission.
Dominator has been generated for your team.
And depending on like how quickly you've done that first part,
attack the enemies. Escort progress 20%. Summoning gas neosaurs.
so I think I can like turn into.
I have awarded the enemy team a Dominator. They may
I don't know how I
invade a
do
hostile
this.
dinosaur. Summoning gas neosaurs. Your allies are on the offensive near the enemy team. The
There we
enemy
go.
data key has progressed 40%. Proximity to the data key will cause it to advance.
How do I? Okay, so I can.
The objective. Preparations for data transfer will begin upon arrival. Continue protecting the data key.
there's a way that I can like go control them, but maybe I need to be in a more open spot. I'm not too sure. Because you can kind of slow their payload down by spawning as a dinosaur yourself and then attacking them. There's still a little bit to this game that I'm kind of figuring out.
The enemy data key has progressed 60%.
I think we're kind of getting our butts handed to us right now.
Proximity to the data key will cause it to advance. Escort it to the objective. Preparations for data transfer will begin upon arrival. Continue protecting the data key. The data key is being attacked by dinosaurs. Summoning raptors. Summoning Dilophosaurus. Summoning stealth neosaurs. Escort progress 60%. Summoning stealth neosaurs. Summoning raptors. Summoning gas neosaurs. Summoning
Things can get quite crazy at the end.
Summoning gas neosaurs. The enemy data key has progressed 80%.
Like we're just getting hammered here. I should really get out of the way. So yeah, I think they're going to get to the end before we will. The other downside is once you get to the end, you kind of have to wait there for a bit. But if you get there quicker, then that means you're not going to be facing the other team because you kind of meet at the same spot, and then it kind of becomes a battle between each team.
Warning. The enemy team has activated the Dominator. Enemy-controlled dinosaur incoming. Prioritize destruction. The enemy team is on the offensive. Fighting back.
Yeah, see, I had a bunch of their enemy team fight me off. And I'm thinking that's going to happen.
This unique asset and defeat the enemies.
Oh, right as I used my special too. Oh, that sucks. At least I can get revived. That's at least helpful. Try and revive some of these guys.
Appreciate it.
I think we're only gonna. Oh man. Yeah, you can see with these settings we're getting a more kind of solid and consistent frame rate, and I think that's the way to play this game. Yeah, too many of us got killed, so.
Combat test complete.
Yeah, we
defeated.
we
You
lost
may
that one
have
for
lost,
sure.
But the quality of the data harvested remained exemplary. Apply this defeat to your continued professional growth.
And we're sacrificed to the dinosaurs. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for this look at Exoprimal. Hopefully when the game comes out, we can maybe revisit it and see if performance has improved. As far as I know, there is a cost to entry for this game. It is also coming out on Game Pass, which is nice. I feel like this is the thing that should be like free to play, but I don't know, maybe when the full game comes out, there'll be a little more to it. I'm not too sure at this stage. But yeah, let me know if this game interests you, if you're thinking of trying it or playing it either on the Steam Deck or somewhere else. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good night.